So hello my friends, welcome back. So this past Friday, Rigathi Gachagua and his cohort stormed Vigilance House with a slew of demands.
Violence has become an existential threat to our democracy. And we've seen it in Chile, we saw it in Malava, we saw it in Othaya last week, we saw it in Gilgil, and we are saying enough is enough.
And I think from today, kama anajua, we said we shall escalate this matter to the international community, all the human rights organizations, the UN itself. Wajue that indications in Kenya now are that we do not have a police service.
But what stood out for me was the demand that the police must provide them with personal security, or rather, guarantee their security. And in all fairness, that's a reasonable ask. It's fair. But the overarching question, generally, and more specifically with regard to Gachagua, is that he should be protected from what? Or from whom, specifically? So I introduced this angle of argument because it was in the least best interest of President Ruto to physically go after the opposition and much less Gachagua. The president already had so much tailwind, so much momentum leading to the day in question. On the contrary, Gachagua was extremely hemorrhaging support, so much that his one-time allies, Koimburi and Wamushomba, dumped him. The point is, it was more in Gachagua's best interest to be attacked in the fashion that we saw. See, to be brutalized in a church where the perceived downtrodden of society are the elderly, women and children, are at the receiving end of perceived state-sponsored mayhem. That is textbook example of state brutality. No wonder Gachagua drilled that point home in ad nauseam. But the point he seems to miss is that cases of him being attacked in churches in Kikuyu-dominated precincts are becoming one too many. And moreover, if he was attacked in the president's backyard, that would make more political sense. Unless it's a local political feud, it's highly inappropriate, highly counterproductive for Gachagua to be attacked in the mountain, his own political stronghold. And then he turns and points a finger at the president, accusing him of being the perpetrator. It's remarkable, it's mind-blowing. So my friends, the security apparatus cannot deter Rigathi from attacking Gachagua. He's no infant. Gachagua is his own worst enemy. Let himself distract. Consequently, since we badly look for another round of Kikuyu-instigated protest or mayhem, we'll reiterate what Gachagua stated back in the day. We'll demand that the police wake up very early in the morning to deter Gachagua and his acolytes from destroying public and private property. So here's my true sense. On the day Gachagua and his acolytes visited the police headquarters, Vigilance House, he made two notable political moves. First, he met Okengo Matiang'i privately, and secondarily, he held a largely successful rally in the CBD by any stretch. So to what end, you may ask? It was all to show up a coalition whose brand has been in the gutter for the longest now. It's been on a free fall. And secondarily, to conjure up new narratives, a message that can rile up his base. His latest slogans have refused to pick. They've fallen on deaf ears. Case in point, when I say Singapore, you respond by laughing it off. That has failed badly, terribly.
Siko namna hiyo, lakini tumekubaliana akienda any other meeting, akisema mambo ya Singapore, watu wanaanguka na kucheka, wanamchekelea kwa sababu ni muongo. Na mimi nataka hata nyinyi Wakamba akija hapa na uongo mumchekelee.
That has been a terrible failure. In politics, narratives and slogans matter a big deal. The one-time slogan picked, but it's already losing its steam, if not dead already. So Gachagua is desperate for another slogan, but this one has refused to pick. Kenyans have low tolerance for repeating the same thing over and over again. It's the same way we listen to music. After a while, it's out of date. See, in politics, messaging is salient. It helps a politician dominate the news cycle. That is every politician's wish. Ruto has leaned more into this, earning him terrific political points. While on the contrary, the opposition in general, and Gachagua specifically, have been on the back foot for the longest now. So Gachagua became privy to this, culminating into what we saw last Sunday in a church. So here's the question. Do you think that for the past 3 months, optically, Ruto has been taking Gachagua that serious, that he posed such a big threat to Ruto to warrant such an overreaction as we saw in Witima? I'd bet no. The president has had very successful months since late of last year, and this was highlighted with the kind of reception he got in Kisumu this past Friday. Ruto is better poised to outpace his detractors at all levels. It's fascinating. I said formerly that the opposition is looking to create new narratives and slogans. The one-term slogan has become banal. Well, I'm not in the business of brainstorming their shortcomings, but another problem that bedevils the opposition is that they don't offer solution to the problems they identify. In fact, they don't even point to the problems themselves. Opposition is virtually a government in waiting, but Gachagua and cohort have refused totally to rise to the moment. The point is, there's no better place we'd rather see Gachagua than in the streets wreaking havoc on Kikuyu businesses like we saw last year at the height of Gen Z protests. If you live in a glass house, don't be so quick to throw the first stone. Maybe, just maybe, your enemies were waiting for you to take that gaping lapse in judgment. Happy Sunday, everyone. Peace. Kindly subscribe and click that notification bell so that you get notified anytime I post.